Yeah, man. I'm telling you, it was freaking nasty. The way she, yo, what's up? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wait. So you're telling me I have to pick between two options, or the wind will get so big it destroy everything? Whoa, what's happening? I, I don't know, some sort of like fate thing or whatever. You sure it's not a scam thing? Oh, good point. Hey, is this like a scam thing or whatever? Uh-huh. Oh. Nah, man, she said she's God. Oh, damn. That's crazy. Yeah, so she said that I either have to let my girlfriend, who I've known for 3 days, sacrifice herself, or let the whole like win thing happen. Oh, that's a tough one, man. You said your GF has to sacrifice herself? Yeah, man, I guess she already decided to sacrifice herself for like the sake of humanity or something. Hmm. How much do you like her though? Oh, hold on. God is saying something else right now. Okay, so now she said that I have a third option, which is to kill you, my best friend of 20 years, in exchange for a $20 GameStop card. And that stops like the evil wind thing or whatever? Yeah, does that stop the evil wind or whatever? Nah, she said it's just like a for funsies thing. Huh. Well, I think if I were in your position, I would probably just let your girlfriend sacrifice. So do I need to like give you my address for the GameStop card or cuz like you're God, so mhm. All right, sick. No, thank you so much, God. Um yeah. All right. No, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. I love you. All right, hello everybody and welcome back to another this one's a little bit different. Instead of like full film franchise, I'm kind of covering a trilogy. So, this is a group of movies that most people have dubbed the Makoto Shinkai Disaster Trilogy, and also I could be pronouncing that director's name wrong. I apologize. But this is a group of anime movies that are very beautiful and very well made, that all kind of center around a disaster of some sort in Japan. They are kind of connected. The first two are definitely connected. And then the third one is kind of loosely maybe connected. I feel like the director at some point said that they weren't, but I don't really believe that. I don't believe you, director. I think you're lying. I think that there is a way to connect it, and potentially when I get there, I'll try to explain it. But we have to start with the first movie, which is Your Name by 2016.
あの日、星が降った日。それはまるで
夢の景色のように美しい眺めだった。
Alright, so here we are with Your Name, the first of this disaster trilogy. And the disaster this go around is kind of akin to like that which wiped out the dinosaurs. However, it only specifically destroys one town. Also, there are going to be spoilers for these movies, just in case you wanted to watch them first, but I don't think that will really affect how you feel about the movies because they are just truly beautiful in their own set, and so like knowing spoilers I don't personally think would actually affect you that much. There's a comet that is passing by, it splits off and it lands on like a specific town area. It's more of a rural area in Japan. It basically it kills everyone. The idea here is that one of our main characters, of which there are two because each of these movies kind of focuses also on romance, is our lead girl. I know what you're thinking. You're going, Ryan, but if the comet crashes and kills everybody, how come we have a lead character that from that area that fucking explodes? And boy, that sure is a good question. So the thing is, we're dealing with like body swap time shenanigans and it sounds complicated, and that's probably because it is. Before you even know that there's a disaster coming, there is a girl and there is a guy. So the guy's name is Taki and the girl's name is Mitsuha. The girl, Mitsuha, is kind of in this rural area. She is a part of, I kind of forget what it's called, like a traditional cultural part of this village where she does like the ceremonial dances, and they do this thing where they make like sake out of like chewed up rice. I forget what it's called, but she's on this side of things, and then Taki is in like Tokyo. I think he's in the major city part, or a major city part of Japan. The idea is that they fall asleep and they think originally that they're having dreams where they are in someone else's body. Spoiler alert, it's not dreams and they are actually swapping bodies. So Taki wakes up and he's in Mitsuha's body, and it's kind of a cultural clash a little bit. So at first they kind of just think that they're having weird dreams. Also, they don't like know who they are. They don't know their own names. So like the people around them are kind of reacting weirdly to them because they're like, where is the school that I normally attend and go to every day? Where is that again? So the other people are kind of reacting weirdly to them, and that's how they eventually figure out that they are swapping bodies. And in my brain I go, yeah, like that makes sense, but also wouldn't they, I don't know, look at their phone and see the date of the day of the month of the year and realize that they somehow skipped a day? Like there are little things like that where I'm like, it doesn't fully make sense, but okay. But then they learn this, and then they leave like little notes for each other. They basically try and help each other out for little things in their lives. Like Mitsuha kind of helps set up Taki on a date with a girl, which she later regrets. Also, Mitsuha she kind of has like trouble sticking up for herself, so that's kind of what Taki ends up doing for her, is he helps stick up for herself because he's in her body. So again, weird fun stuff there. Like they swap phone numbers, but they don't like text or call each other or try to at any point, and they both try to get a hold of each other and it doesn't work. So I'm like, why didn't you try that beforehand? But the twist, of course, as we all know, is that Mitsuha is actually in the past and Taki is in the future by like, I want to say a few months maybe. I don't think it was that long. No, actually it was 3 years. Yeah, I remember that being weird, because then in my brain I go, oh, so even though they're the same age when they're interacting with each other, this would actually make Mitsuha 3 years older than Taki were they to meet back up in correct timeline position. That would be a little bit strange, because Mitsuha would, well, I guess it'd be fine because they would both, yeah, they'd both be graduated at that. No, because Taki would just be graduating or still be in like high school, and then Mitsuha would have graduated like 3 years ago. But yeah, Mitsuha is actually in the past, and in Taki's timeline, which is again 3 years in the future, has already experienced the disaster, which is the comet killing and landing and killing everybody. In his timeline, Mitsuha is actually dead. It creates this thing where eventually her timeline catches up to that event and she dies. So Taki basically loses all connection with her, and this is where he finally tries to like contact her via cellular phone, and it doesn't work because she's dead as fuck, boy. He basically keeps having these things like, I need to figure out what happened, where she is, because also at this point he's realized that he doesn't actually like this girl that he was set up on a date with, and he actually likes Mitsuha, and he goes around to all these different towns because he recognizes some of the landmarks but doesn't know the name of it, and is trying to find it and find her. Eventually he stumbles across a man that recognizes this drawing that he did of the place, and he goes, oh yeah, that place is like gone, bro. That place got fucking obliterated like the dinosaurs. I'm from there, so it's sad, but like, he got obliterated, bro. And obviously, this is not great news to Taki. Also, while this is happening, he's slowly starting to lose more and more of his memories of her. He goes to this place, which is like this sacred place up in like a crater where some meteor had already fallen, I guess, at some point. And it is this place where while he was in Mitsuha's body, they went up with like their grandma and her sister to place this very special ceremonial sake drink, the rice thing that I was talking about. They put it there, and it's this thing where they describe where it's like it's half of Mitsuha and half of the sister and whoever did it. He decides to go there because he has this like vague memory of like half of Mitsuha being there. He also doesn't remember her name anymore, I don't think. And he drinks the sake. He has this weird like whole like cool shit going on. He basically begs the universe to like let him have another chance to help save her. Kind of that happens. He gets one more chance, and it's the day of the meteor falling, and he basically goes to Mitsuha's two friends who have also become him friends. So he's basically trying to convince them as Mitsuha that the comet is going to fall and kill everybody in the town, and that they need to help evacuate everyone and save the day. At some point, somehow the body swap ends, and then it's Mitsuha again, and Mitsuha has to be the one to finally convince everybody. Part of it, she has to like talk to her dad, who's the mayor. The whole thing ends up working out, and they do save. But also, when they met each other, they were going to write each other's names on the hands because they were forgetting each other's names. And Taki, like a dumbass, writes on Mitsuha's hand just like, I love you. And Mitsuha's like later upon this revelation, when she's forgotten his name and she's having a fucking crisis, the world's about to end for her. Everybody she knows is about to die. She's breaking down mentally. She looks at this and she goes, you fucking dumbass. This doesn't help me remember your name. Inevitably, she ends up saving the day, and now the whole thing is that they've forgotten each other. Also, there's this whole thing with Mitsuha's like red string hair tie thing that she has, but he ended up with the hair thing, and he had it as a bracelet, so he remembers the red string. So we just in the future see that both of them kind of have this feeling that they're searching for something, that there's something important that they're missing, but they don't know what it is. Mitsuha ends up moving to Tokyo, and they see each other pass by on like the subway train or something, and Taki sees the red hair tie. He has this like flash of not total realization, because again, he doesn't actually remember her, but he's like, there's something in his memory that sparks this like, this is connected to somehow what I've been missing, what I've been searching for. They eventually look for each other and they find each other, and that's how the movie ends. Not really revealing that they remember anything at the end, but you know, kind of signifying that they do find each other and theoretically end up falling in love again. So it's a very beautiful movie. I really like Your Name. I highly recommend it. And it's time for the next movie.
あの夏の日、あの空の上で私たちは世界の形を決定的に変えてしまったんだ。
Alright, so now we have Weathering with You from 2019. So this is a bit of a strange one. I think that this one is kind of a little bit of the weirdest. But this one, the main disaster. Like, we got fucking dino extinction event over in the last one. And this one, well, let me tell you, we got rain. It's like raining every day, which is bad for sure. No, for sure that's really bad, but it doesn't feel as impactful. So this one, we start with the main boy lead. His name is Hodaka. Basically, he's a runaway. Also, the characters in this one are quite a bit younger. I think he's like 13 or 14 maybe. They don't really ever fully explain why he ran away, just that like he really doesn't want to go back there. And I kind of assumed it was like terrible, like parental abuse or something, but judging by how the movie ends, I don't think that's the case. I think he's just a 13-year-old boy that didn't want to
be there. He has nothing, so he's kind of living on the streets. He can't really afford much or of anything at all. He can't get a job because, well, number one, I think he might be too young. But number two, he doesn't have like a student ID or whatever, which they need to make it legal. He ends up meeting the girl Hina because she's like working at a fast food restaurant akin to Burger King or McDonald's, and he's just kind of a regular there because they got cheap food there. At one point, he's just kind of sitting there sadly, and she gives him like a free burger or something. At some point after this, he ends up with some older man. He's not like old, he's just an adult, so old compared to Horaka. He basically ends up getting hired by this guy to work for him. It's like a journalist place, but it's more of like a tabloid kind of journalism. And then some other random day, he sees this girl that helped him give the burger, Hina, and she's getting harassed by a couple of older men. He goes to try and save her, and also he found a gun at some point just on the street. Basically, they're like threatening him, and they're about to like beat him up and then like take her or something. So he pulls out a gun on them, and then he like shoots, and he doesn't hit them, but he shoots like some street light or something. This seems like it would be more important than it is. It's really not. The only reason that it's important is because it gets the police to kind of investigate the situation. So yeah, he saves her. She's grateful, and basically he kind of finds out that she's in a similar position. She lost her job and she's trying to help take care of her younger brother. She says that she is like 18, I think. The twist is that she's lying, and she's also like 14. But basically we find out that she is on her own. Hina is on her own. Her mom died of an illness, so she is on her own, left to take care of her little brother. This is an issue, as we see later on, because legally she can't do that because she's like 14 and she can't live on her own and be a caretaker. Oh my god. So this also gets her in trouble with the police later on. Once things start happening, Hodaka comes up with like this plan, right? Because she shows him at some point that she can do this thing where she can stop the rain. And so in the meantime, Hodaka basically comes to her with a business proposal. It's called like the Rain Girl or Sunshine Girl. It's called the Sunshine Girl. There's also this myth in Japan of the Sunshine Girls. So she's a real sunshine girl. And so he's like, well, why don't we do this thing? We put out some advertisements and people can pay us to stop the rain. And also as the story progresses, they kind of fall in love with each other, more so kind of pointedly him with her. This movie is just as long as Your Name, but it feels a little bit longer because there's kind of stretches of time where not much is going on. We also at some point see little cameos of the two main characters from Your Name here because it's in Tokyo, so we do know definitively that this movie connects to that one. But yeah, eventually the police are trying to find Hodaka because they have surveillance footage of him with the gun. So they go looking for him, and in response they find Hina, and they basically threaten her. They're like, hey, you can't be doing this. We're gonna have to have social services come to take you and your little brother. It's this whole thing where she warns him, and then they basically decide to run away together. They're trying to find a place to stay because it's, again, raining 24/7, so it's hard to find a spot. The rain has gotten so bad at this point that like certain areas are kind of flooding a little bit. We're seeing this kind of disaster start to build up a little bit more. They have another scuffle with the police at some point, and then they end up finding refuge in a hotel. This is where Hina reveals that every time she's done this Sunshine Girl thing, part of her body has turned more into water. Like she shows it off, and you can see like her skin is translucent and looks like she's made out of water in certain parts. Kind of like vitiligo, but water, if that makes any sense. And she was also told at some point by the tabloid people that basically Sunshine Girls historically would have to be sacrificed in order to stop the rain. She asks the question, she's like, would you like the rain to stop, to Hodaka? And he's like, yeah, because he doesn't really understand what he's saying in that moment. And she goes, cool, gotcha. Hey, It's nice knowing you, kid. And then she sacrifices herself, not right then and there, but while he's asleep and the little brother is asleep. And the rain does stop. So we do know that it does in fact work. And then upon learning this, Hodoka is like, what? No, that's awful. We can't have this. And also the little brother is like, this is all your fucking fault, man. You gotta bring her back. So now we have this whole like chase scene where Tokyo is flooded. There's like puddles and shit everywhere. And he tries to run. There's a building in specific where she went to. The police find him and then they chase him. There's a whole chase scene. The tabloid people end up helping him. And then he's able to communicate with her somehow. He ends up in like the sky place, the sky world, and he talks to her and he's like, I don't care if the rain will continue, I want you back. So then yeah, she does come back, and we see that because he was wanted, he's basically sent back to his hometown for like to finish school or something. And this is again one of those moments where I'm like, oh, so it was just kind of fine for you to do that? Okay, I kind of thought it would be more of a big deal than that, but okay. And then the movie ends with him coming back to Tokyo. He's graduated. She has theoretically also graduated, and he basically has a ring that he gave her before, but it's a whole thing. And he wants to give her the ring and basically tell her that he loves her. Like, again, it's another beautiful movie. It's just this one, the plot is the one where I'm like, I don't buy this one as much. Like, again, they're like 13 and they meet each other for the first time. They know each other for like maybe a month or two of summer. Hodoka has basically decided that she is the love of his life. Like, despite the fact that Hina chooses herself to sacrifice herself to stop the disaster, to stop the rain, which will inevitably flood Tokyo and make Tokyo unlivable. He's just kind of like, yeah, but I'd rather tell her to not do that, kind of dooming Tokyo and probably the world a little bit because I love her and I've only known her for 2 months. You get what I'm getting at here? Like, yeah, it's sweet. And also, it is kind of a thing where it's like, she shouldn't have to sacrifice herself. Me personally, if I were in her shoes, I would. But also, they talk about this thing where it's like, yeah, well, it was gonna happen anyway. Tokyo's been underwater before, so maybe this is just what's supposed to happen. And I go, yeah, but also we know that it works when she does sacrifice herself, so yeah, it's kind of a sillier one, at least to me. And also the romance is a little bit weaker because, again, you've known each other barely, you're 13, but I still like it. It's still a very good movie, it's still very pretty. But we have to get to the next one.
ねえ君 この辺りに扉はない？
Alright, and now we have the final movie in this little trilogy with Suzume from 2022. Alright, so what can the disaster be this go around? Well, this time it's devastating earthquakes. So yeah, okay, that checks out. This one's also weird because it deals with like these doors that lead to, I think they call it the ever after. There is this worm, large worm, that comes out of these doors and causes the earthquakes. There is a group of people that works to close and lock these doors so that the worm can't come out and cause disaster. And they also, like, they're, you know, the doors don't stay locked like permanently, like they can still break open after a while, but the idea is that, you know, you lock the door, you close the door, and then earthquake are at least subsided for a good amount of time. Basically, this movie follows Suzume, that's her name. She's kind of like the girl from from Your Name. She lives in a rural area. Also, there's like a place that has been kind of destroyed, and basically this strange guy, but also very handsome man, basically he shows up and he asks her, like, are there any like ruins around here or like stuff like that? And she points him in a direction. Then, because of her curiosity, she decides to skip school and go to find him because she's curious. She ends up getting there before him somehow, and she finds the door that is open, and when you look inside, inside of it is beautiful. It's a beautiful place. Again, I think it's called the Ever After. She also like strangely recognizes the inside of this place. She has like memories or a dream or something from her past where it looks like this place. She tries going through the door. You can't go through it. You just basically end out the other side. But when you look through it, you see the Ever After. It's very cool. It's like a kind of like an end portal from Minecraft a little bit. Yeah, because she finds this little statue thing outside of the door. She interacts with it somehow and it pops out, and then it turns into like a little cat, and then the cat runs away. Turns out that cat was very important because that is like a load-bearing stone. There are like 2 keys that like are able to keep these doors closed to keep the worm at bay, and that cat is one of those keys that she kind of just freed. The cat later ends up being like a being that can talk, like it is a god, and the whole thing is that the cat is kind of an asshole, kind of a dick, and it's a god that doesn't want to perform its duty anymore, and so it keeps running away and kind of like causing a little bit of strife here and there. And so the cat god is kind of like forcing this on the guy eventually we see to become the new key. They tried to make the cat empathetic, and the cat god is empathetic because I feel bad that the cat god has to kind of be there for all of eternity, but also like, why would you force that on someone else, you know? That to me is just like, well, that's a little fucked up. While she's at school, she looks out the window and she sees like this terrible red cloud mist thing. So she runs back there. She finds the guy there and he's trying to close and lock the door. I think he ends up getting like hurt. So she takes him back to her place and she like offers to patch him up because she wants to be, her mom was a nurse, I think. Also her mom, there's a mom plot. So of course there is, because these movies always got to hit me in the feel somehow. Fucking typical. Anyway, the guy's name is Sota. Unfortunately, because there is a romance here, unfortunately, this is one of those age gap ones because he's an adult. He's definitely at least university age. So, you know, like 18, 19, and she is still in high school. To be fair to this movie a little bit, without being super critical, right? They don't actually kind of have a romance in this movie, not in like a normal way. She has a crush on him. He doesn't really reciprocate much of anything until like maybe the end of the movie, right? So to be fair to it, I guess it's like technically they're not a thing, but also like, I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? Come on. But anyway, while she's patching Soda up, the cat shows up and it talks to her because it's a talking cat. And then the cat has this whole thing against Soda. The cat turns him into a little chair. It's a children's chair that Suzume's mom made for her before she died. It only has 3 legs, and so now for the rest of this movie, instead of handsome man, you get chair. And in my joke review of this movie, I go, man, this movie really nerfed itself by making the handsome, attractive character into a chair for most of the runtime. And then the cat runs off, and Sota is basically like, I have to get that cat, and also he can move, like he can run and walk and talk as a chair. So he does those things. So he chases after the cat and Suzume chases after them, and they end up on a ship that's going to somewhere else in Japan. And Sota is like, no, I got this. I may be a chair, but I got this. And Suzume is rightfully like, no. So then the rest of the movie, like the main middle section of the movie is basically Suzume and Sota chasing after this cat as it goes from door that is about to open with worm in it, from door that is about to open with worm in it. And they're kind of speculating that the cat is the one that's doing it and opening the doors. That's not true. But what I find interesting is that we get like little vignettes of this movie where Suzume ends up running into person that helps her because she's in a place she's never been before and she's trying to travel across Japan basically. So she ends up running into these characters that end up helping her, and they're very sweet and very fun characters. But what I find kind of strange is that I really thought they were going to be like, oh, let me tag along with you. This is going to be like a buddy movie where we collect buddies for the movie. And then that doesn't happen. She just kind of like leaves after they close the door. So this cool character that I like they introduced that is a fun character is now just done. We don't get any more of them really. Okay, gotcha. understood. None of this is really important to the plot at all, which is why I'm kind of skipping past it. And then eventually they end up actually in, I assume, Tokyo again. And this is where Sota lives. Meanwhile, we have seen like little glimpses that something is happening to Sota. Like he falls asleep and then he has a hard time waking up. And so you're concerned for him a little bit. Also, this entire time, Suzume's aunt, who is basically her caretaker after her mom died, is like really worried, has decided to try and find Suzume because she's worried about her. Rightfully so, because again, she's like a high schooler that is just essentially ran away from home to just go on an adventure. And then Tokyo is where the big one is about to happen. So the worm is coming out and it's really cool visuals. Basically, if they don't stop it, then this worm will cause an earthquake that will literally destroy Tokyo. Untold casualties would take place. And this is where the cat basically tells him that, hey, if you don't use Sota, this little chair friend of yours, as the new key, a lot of people are gonna die and that's gonna be on you. But basically Suzume like uses him as a key and she's devastated by it because it means that he's basically fucking dead. And she basically says to the cat that she fucking hates the cat, and the cat gets all sad and mopey and like sad looking, and I'm like, can you blame her? Can you blame her, dog? Suzume is like determined to save Sota from this fate, so she's going to go try and find him, and she learns from Sota's like father or something that you can go through a door if it's like your door. She basically figures out that she needs to go home where she was originally born, where she lived with her mom, so she decides to go there. And at this point, Sota's friend is here, and so is Suzume's mom. Sota's friend offers to give her a ride to there, and Suzume's mom is like, I'm coming with you. What have you gotten yourself into, ma'am? And so they go on this little road trip, and this is where we get some really kind of fun, sweet development parts for the characters in a little bit. We see that the aunt is like struggling with taking care of Suzume. The aunt has some like kind of pent up feelings against her, where she's like, I gave up my life to take care of you, which I don't regret, but there's a little bit of like pent up, feelings of resentment in here. So the aunt and Suzume have like this kind of cute, heartfelt moment eventually where they're able to talk things through. And Suzume is like, you stepped up and you were basically a mom to me when I no longer had one. And it's this really sweet little bit of the story that I quite enjoy. They end up at the wreckage of Suzume's mom's house, basically, and they find the door, and Suzume goes in by herself. The place looks like a disaster because the worm is like trying to break out and stuff. And this is where Suzume's dream / memory comes into play. Basically, when she was a child, she ended up in the ever after, like searching for her mom. She has this memory of someone who she thought was her mom, like kind of talking to her, comforting her, but it turns out it was actually her. So again, we have some kind of weird time stuff happening where Suzume finds her childhood self and basically has to comfort her childhood self and say, everything's gonna be okay. And this is another one of those moments that really gets me because, again, it's the whole dead mom thing, and it's really pretty. And they end up saving Sota, and the cat gods end up becoming the keys again. Everything works out in the end. Basically, I think what happens from there, because again, I don't fully remember, is Suzume goes back home. She's potentially kind of going through school, like the very end of school. I think she's still in high school. And then Sota shows up, and yeah, it's like you're like, oh, so they're gonna have a relationship. But again, a little weird because one of them is in college and one of them is in high school. Also, to describe my theory of how Suzume connects to Your Name and Weathering with You, basically in the ever after, we see that it looks like a place that has been destroyed. It looks like a real place. We see like there's a building with a boat kind of on top of it, and we saw that by like the end of Weathering with You, Japan has flooded. And so my theory is that the ever after is where Your Name and Weathering with You took place, and that it is since kind of vanished. There's no more humanity there. Everyone has died off. And then that has become the ever after. Maybe they're separate universes. I'm not really sure. But that's my theory because it feels like such a specific detail to have this place kind of look like the past movies, and you have like all this boat stuff going on where there's like boats on top of houses, which doesn't make sense unless the place was thoroughly heavily flooded and like lost to time. To me, I think that's how I would relate, is like the Ever After is where those movies took place. It's just like a different timeline kind of thing. That's what I read it as. But yeah, now I have to get to the ranking of the trilogy. So let's rank these movies. All right, so honestly, this ranking is fairly easy for me. I think, again, that these are all great, beautiful movies that I highly recommend anyone watch. They are just very good. However, in third place, we have Weathering with You. This is just the one that like hit the least for me. It's the one that feels like the stakes are kind of the weirdest. I don't buy like the relationships as much. It's just not as compelling for me. It's still absolutely stunning. It's still beautiful. It's still pretty cute at times. But again, it's kind of just like, there's some interesting stuff going on that I don't fully buy. In second place, though, I am going to put Suzume. Yeah, I really like Suzume. Again, I think that this one is a little bit weird at times. Like some of the, like Weathering with You and Suzume have this issue with me where I feel like they just, like they're not as concise. They don't have like as well defined, I don't know how to put it, like a through line, right? I enjoy Suzume quite a lot. Again, I think all of these movies are drop dead gorgeous, and I really like the characters in Suzume. I think that this one just isn't as good to me. And then in first place we have Your Name, which I just think is a beautiful movie. I think it's like a 4.5, 5-star movie out of 5, so absolutely worth watching. This is the one that feels like kind of the most concise to me. It feels like it really knows what it's doing. Its impacts are just really heavy hitters, and I like the relationship part of it and the disaster part of it the most. So yeah, that's my ranking of this disaster trilogy. Have you seen these movies? Has me talking about them influenced you to want to watch them? If you've seen them, what are your thoughts on them? Leave a comment down below. Also, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I just enjoy having you here. I enjoy making these videos. So thanks for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.